Hi folks, so today I want to talk about stretching and specifically about stretching the muscles around the hips because we're spending too much time in the seated position, which leaves the front of our hips very tight, including the quads, the front of the thighs. And some people even find it difficult to sit cross-legged because they're so tight from the front here. So stretching, if you've not done it stretch for a while, you might find that actually holding it for even 10 seconds is quite painful and quite challenging, so you need to listen to your body when you're stretching. If you are used to stretching and working out, then you should be able to hold your stretches for longer, and you want to get into the practice of holding it longer, especially when you want to lengthen your muscles. So we're going to do a stretch called a pigeon pose, and this is specifically for the rotators within the glutes, so they're deep external rotators within the hips. Now, when you sit with your legs straight out in front of you, you might find that one leg naturally wants to roll out more. So for me, it's my right side, and that is my right piriformis. That tends to be a little bit on the tight side. So today it's not too bad. It only rolls out a little bit, and it doesn't feel like it wants to go like this. So what we're going to do is stretch that out. So we're going to come into, if you can't come into a plank position, that's fine. Just stay on your knees. You're going to bring your leg up in front of you and tuck it through here. And this other leg, your left leg, stays lengthened and extended behind you. So if I come forward, you can see my whole foot. Now, if you can't come onto the floor, you can do these on a chair, on an elevated surface. You just bring your foot up onto the surface. I'm doing it on the floor because I want to, for me, it's deeper. So here, I'm stretching the rotators on my right hip, and on my left, I'm stretching the front of my hips. I'm doing two at the same time. Now, if you find coming onto the floor is too much and you're actually quite high up here, you might need something to support you. So you could use a block or a little a box or books or something to hold you up. So it might be you're here, but I'm going to do it from here, and I'm just going to let everything relax so I can actually be on the floor. So here, this is where you just sit into it and let it just relax, let everything open, and you'll feel when things release and open, there might be movements. There might be like you feel like this is dropping down, coming closer to the floor. Your bum comes closer to the floor. What you don't want to do is force your bum to the floor, because if you try to force the bum onto the floor, you're going to rotate around like this to get your bum down, which means your spine starts to curve here, and we want to maintain that level pelvis because we don't want to create curvature in the spine. So once it's released, so I can feel my muscles have released a little bit, I can increase the stretch in the front of this hip here by taking my leg back behind me. So now I've opened it. My right side I haven't moved, I've just taken my left leg behind me to increase the stretch in the front here. And then I can hold again until it releases. Once everything starts to feel more open, I can come lower. So if I was on the block, I might just bring my hands down onto the floor. But as I'm already on the floor, I can come down either by bending my elbows, so my weight drops forward, or I can come all the way down onto my elbows. So in this position, again, you just want to make sure your pelvis isn't dropping more to one side than the other. You want to keep it level. So my left side feels like it's a little bit lower than the right, so I can level it up a little bit by just using my hand to help me. There. And holding it there. And again, just feeling for it, releasing and relaxing. I'm going to come back up onto my hands because I want to increase the stretch in the front of my quads, front of my hips and my quads. Now this is quite an advanced part of stretching. Now if you can't reach, don't worry, you can do it as a separate movement. But if you can, from this position, you want to try and grab your ankle or your heel and pull that in towards your bum. So today I'm feeling quite flexible today, so I can reach it quite easily, but some days I can't and I feel my back doesn't allow me to twist. So once I'm here, I'm trying to bring my heel towards my bum. I'm trying to let my right side relax still, and I'm getting a stretch, so I'm deepening the stretch in the front of my left hip. Now if I want to increase this again, I can do a contract relax, so I can push my foot into my hand here, my hand blocks it, so that makes my quads contract. So I don't want to push with like excessive force, so just about 20% of my strength. And then I'm going to do that for about 20 seconds. And once I'm done there, I'll relax and bring my heel closer into my bum. So it should allow you to have more length through your quads and your hip flexor there. So I'm going to come out of it now because I'm getting a little bit pins and needles in my right side. So again, you're listening to your body, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. So I'm bringing my leg through here. I'm not going to hold this as long just because I'm just talking you through it. So again, I'm starting on my hands. So here, I'm on my hands. My back is not curved, it's long. So I'm maintaining my natural curvature of my spine there. And then I can drop down. As everything opens and relaxes, I can take my leg back. So my leg that's extended behind me, I can take it further back, increase the length here, and then drop down onto my elbows. And just let everything release and relax. So just feel what it feels like. You can compare your left and right and see how different they feel. And again, you can bring the heel to your bum. So this I can reach again, and I can do the contract and relax if I want to. I can also, in this position, so I'm here, I've brought my ankle, my heel up to my bum. If I wanted to stretch more to the outside of my thigh, I can do that by bringing my foot over to this side, but I can feel it starting to cramp a little bit today. So bring it over, here we go, that's better. So actually I'm not getting it on the outside today, doing this, I can feel, probably because I'm a bit tighter on this side, on my, towards the inner thigh. Whereas normally if I do this, I feel it on the outer side, but my inner thigh is a little bit tighter today. So here, and then release. I'm just going to check what it feels like on my other side because I didn't do that just now. So come down, let it just get used to it. So you can't just go straight into the movement, you've got to just let your body relax. And then I'm bringing my heel to my bum, and I'm going to grab it with my other leg. Oh yeah, so it is a bit more, I'm feeling a little bit more towards my inner thigh, not as bad on this side. And if I try to do this side, oh yeah, it's still in my inner thigh. So you can bring your leg out separately to the side. Now, if you can't do the twisting and reaching, you can lie down straight, flat on the floor, and try and bring your heel to your bum here. And again, you can do this sideways at different angles here. So I don't feel as much of a stretch in that position as I did when I was doing a pigeon pose at the same time. Another stretch you can do, so that when you've just done that, you've targeted the whole of the outside of your hips, your deep external rotators, the front of your hips. To now stretch more on the inner thighs, we're going to do, you're going to have your left leg out to the side, you're going to bring your right to the inside of your inner thigh. So if you started like this with your leg straight out in front of you, you can start there, but to get more to the inner thigh, you're going to just take your leg out to the side. So what we're actually going to stretch now is we're going to get into your hamstrings, your adductors, your inner thigh muscles, but we're also going to do your lower back stabilizing muscles. So it's quadratus lumborum, the QL. And when you are stretching it, so lift up high, exhale, you've got to make sure your body's not rotating around like this because you won't stretch it at all. So if you're here, you can reach your ankles, you can reach your toes, grab your toes. You should be able to open your arm out. If you can, then you know your chest is in the right position. And then you can bring your hand down to rest. If you want to maintain that openness and ensure that you are open, you can bring your hand to your knee and use your hand to help you push that knee down into the ground. That way, when you push the knee into ground, your hip stays on the floor and you're increasing the length of the muscle between the bottom rib and the top of the pelvis, which is the area that you want to focus on. So you push downwards, let the shoulders relax. You don't want your shoulders up by your ears, let them relax. Make sure that hip stays on the ground. So you're pushing into your hand and you can feel that length through the muscle between the ribs and the pelvis. And then you can release and come out of it, and then do the same on the other side. So with these, you can sit in them for 30 seconds or more if you've got time and you need to increase the length of those muscles. If they feel particularly tight because they're short, because you spend so much time sitting, then you probably want to save, put some time aside specifically to focus on stretching these areas. So for me, this side, my left side, is the area that I've been having some tightness in over the last few weeks. Yeah, and it's getting better from stretching, and doing this always really helps it open up that lower back. Yeah, so it's just putting some time aside, dedicating some time, and just sitting in the positions. You listen to your body, see what it tells you. Sometimes it will tell you that, you know, this is enough, I can't do any more. That's when you have to stop. And other times it will be like, oh yeah, I can sit here in this position quite nicely for a long period of time, and you'll get a really good stretch from it. So we're going to come out of it, and then you can stand up. I'm just going to do it kneeling, and you can wriggle your hips around, do some hip circles, and see how that feels. Hopefully everything should feel looser and more open, and it should feel a lot nicer, and everything should be moving a lot more freely. So when you sit and look at your legs again, so if your legs rolled out, if your foot rolled out before, you might find actually now it doesn't roll out so much because it's had a good stretch and it's not pulling it into that position anymore. So as you can see, my foot is more relaxed now. It's not wanting to go that way, the pull has gone. So, you know, you've had a really good outcome by just doing that one stretch, the pigeon pose. Okay, so that's where I'm going to leave you today.